admission I've ever seen. Take this.
The Democratic Party. And over the past 3 or 4 months, we've talked a lot about Joe Manchin. We've talked a lot about getting to the votes. We've talked a lot about whether it's possible to get to 60 votes. We've talked about the filibuster. I have noticed that you and Bernie and some of the more high-profile progressive leaders, you all have held your tongue far more than when I was in Congress.
Thank you for the credit.
and I was on the other side. You know, we would complain every 3 minutes about it doesn't cut enough. We're not getting close enough to balancing the budget. And I've been curious. How have you? First of all, have you done it? Because you can never do it. Is there more of a plan to let the moderates work through this, let them try to get to where they go, and then we work behind the scenes and meet them behind the scenes?
I do think that there has been a large amount of behind the scenes work.
That breaks my heart when I see that. That breaks my heart when I see that. She says there's been a lot of behind the scenes work going on, which is why you're getting rolled in. Remember when she said, we can't do forced to vote for Medicare for all because we got to keep our powder dry for a fight we could actually win, like $15 minimum wage. Then the fight for $15 minimum wage came up, and they instantly lost. So I submit to you, her strategy was the correct strategy of talking behind the scenes. We'd have $15 minimum wage. They would have used their leverage and voted as a block in the House and blocked anything, unless it included the minimum wage, therefore pressure on Biden to get the fewer number of people who are $15 minimum wage, the 7 or 8 or whatever it was. Now you're forced to get them on the record and for the $15 minimum wage who are for it than against it. So do you understand? You can get a block of like 12 people who are saying, I'm not voting for shit unless it has the $15 minimum wage in the last reconciliation package. And if you have 8 people who say, we're not voting forward with the $15 minimum wage in it, 12 is more than 8. And so would you rather change 12 people's minds or 8 people's minds? So he would be forced to get to work to try to convince the 8 senators, you have to vote for this package with the $15 minimum wage. You have to do it. This is a must-pass bill. There's no ands if or buts about it. I don't care if you don't like the $15 minimum wage. Have to do it. These crazy progressives aren't going to vote for anything unless it has a $15 minimum wage in it. They didn't do that. They didn't do that at all. They rolled over.
Hey guys, this is Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's everyone doing today? Tommy Nation Politics.
Yo, hey, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna really, really, really wanna do it. You want the future, forget past. If you wanna get with me, better make it fast. Now don't go wasting our precious time. Get your act together, we could be just fine. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I wanna really, really, really wanna stay high. You wanna be my lover, you gotta get with my friend, with my friend. And you wanna be my lover, you got to give. What you think about that? Now you know how I feel. Say you.
What's up, guys? Tommy with Tommy Nation Politics. How's it going today? Man, it's Tuesday. Tommy Nation Tuesday. It's already been kind of a long week for me. I think it's because of that, the July 4th. I was very busy. A lot of stuff going on in the news as well. We have the squad not giving us a minimum wage, legalizing pot, healthcare, Medicare for all, a Green New Deal. Anything they campaigned on, nothing. Nothing's fundamentally changing. I did a lot of work on those Independence Day videos. Tried to make myself feel hopeful with that Independence Day speech. That always helps me out. But in the back of my mind, this ironic feeling of what does July 4th mean today? You know, because we have inalienable rights, right? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which we are supposed to, as Americans, be united under. And yet, slowly but surely, we're trading those liberties for security, for convenience, for the social construct, for the conventional wisdom and the social norms. We're afraid of each other. We're xenophobic of each other. Just today, on my Facebook, I was doing a group, you know, sharing my my media podcast to groups, and I got declined for spam. We don't know what you are. We don't know who you are. We don't know you. We're afraid. Fear the other. That's what the society teaches us, guys. And yet you can saran wrap your hands. You can trade your liberties and habeas corpus produce the body for the Patriot Act. You can substitute your autonomy from your body and give that autonomy to the government for security because they care. I don't know, guys. I don't know the questions, which is why I have guests, because I really don't fucking know. Why? I don't know your modus operandi. I don't know how you come to think the things you think. And guys, by the way, I have made mistakes. I'm not an arrogant person. I myself have made mistakes, but I played the tape through. I learned that, you know, doing massive amounts of drugs, you have to play the tape through. Don't do that. So I've made so many mistakes. Maybe I've made so many mistakes that maybe now I'm just a professional at thinking things through. And now I see all of you not, and it drives me insane. Maybe that's what it is. But in any case, guys, I want to know what July 4th means to you, guys. This is the July 4th autopsy. This moment of nostalgia where we fought for freedom. We did that time. We fought for freedom that time. It was pretty much the only time we did. The rest of the times we've been fighting for oil. We've been fighting for profits, the military industrial complex, Wall Street, and the banks. We've all been willingly going along with this game for 40 years. 40 years of neoliberal policies. 40 years of laissez-faire economics. And now we have the king motherfucker neoliberal himself. The one who made the crime bill. The one who incarcerated half the country. And to this day, his hand is reverberating throughout history with the Shakara Olympian being chastised for smoking marijuana. That is Joe Biden's work. He's in office now. So I don't know, guys. I don't know what to do. But I'm going to bring on Dan. I don't know if that's a good segue. But Dan, taxationist F. Behrman, he's a libertarian. He ran as the libertarian candidate presidential nominee against Joe Jorgensen, yes. And we're going to be running for governor of Texas. Now, I'm going to be asking him some questions about Allen West getting into the race. And Allen West and Governor Abbott has been kissing Donald Trump's ring lately. I don't know if you've seen that, but we're going to ask him some questions. Let me bring him on right now. Dan, good to see you, bro.
Hey, what's going on?
What's up, man?
How's it going,
How
man?
are things?
Yeah.
How are things? How are things, bro?
Okay. Doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, down here in Mexico, lots of Americans last weekend. This
Really?
weekend. Yeah.
Wow,
Oh,
that's good.
this is where. So I remember the first time I realized this because I was on. I don't go out and party too much, not anymore. But I was on a plane coming back to Cancun from the 2018 Libertarian Convention. No, sorry, this was 2016 when Trump was running, and I realized that all these people who were probably Trump supporters yelling build the wall," running around with like their American flag bikinis and swimsuits and everything. They were on this plane with me on the 4th of July to go spend the 4th of July in Mexico, with their MAGA hats and everything. And I just remember that was the irony was just amazing. But yeah, lots of people come down to Mexico for 4th of July. A lot of people move down here. A lot of my neighbors are Texans, Canadians, everybody else just from all places. A lot of North Americans, a lot of Americans. Because there's more freedom down here. They come here to get away from taxes. They come here to get away from laws, restrictions, just government bullshit.
So there's no Kamala Harris there saying do not come.
No.
Oh, wow.
Come, bring whatever you can. Contribute to our society in whatever way you please.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's amazing. And what I find the most interesting is like all of the things that we can learn. I mean, I was looking at cigarettes because I was refilling my bottled water containers, right? Because you don't drink tap water. That's just a given, right? Nobody drinks tap water. You get these like
Why
big
is that?
like 5.
Why is that?
Because the way the water system works is you have water stored usually below ground or on your roof in a plastic or a cement container. And it's not filtered or anything. So, I mean, because like you can have, like, even if it's clean when it gets to your house, it could get,
Because
dirty.
why? Because
Because
I'm just saying this is one of those things. That's you brought this up. That's just one of those things that people are scared if they elect libertarians. What's going to happen?
well, right. But here's the thing. You do it in America and people expect that water to be clean. And then you look at Flint, Michigan, and it's like the water's still not that clean. Or they put a bunch of chemicals in it so that it can travel 500 miles underground and you're drinking chlorine and like all these chemicals. So like the idea of having drinking water coming out of your faucet is pretty stupid when most of the water you use, you don't drink anyways. And you can get purified water. And this is just what people normally do. They get purified water or they get a purified water system and drill a well and pull it from the ground. And that's just normal. And
that's normal? That's normal.
Okay. That's normal. And this is what people get. But here's the
Here's the thing, Dan, is that these Americans, they want convenience. They want conventional wisdom and social norms. They can't even stop voting for Democrats and Republicans. So how do you expect them to drill a well and get purified water that way?
Believe me.
They can't fucking do that shit.
You're preaching to the choir.
I know, bro.
But this is the whole prepper thing, right? I mean, like, we saw Texas lose power. California is always like, oh, we're out of water. But you have states, like there have been people who have been taken to court for collecting rainwater so that they have their own supply of water and they're not depending on the government. And that's a crime because that's the government's water, they say. It's absolutely insane. But instead they're forcing us to become dependent on that system. And then when those systems fail with their crumbling infrastructure, it's like, well, we're screwed and we tried to get off of your system. And it's like, even if it's only 5%, only if it's only 10% of the people who want to get off of that system, whether it's the power grid or the water system, that's 10%. Imagine if 10% up when Texas was losing power, if you got 10% off the grid, that's 10% going back to other people who lost power, whose lives could have been saved. So 10% is 10%, but don't take that for granted. That's, every single person who can get off and reduce dependency is somebody else who gives that to somebody else. So yeah, that's a whole other thing. But cigarettes.
Well, I have a few questions to ask you. Before you get to cigarettes, I have a few questions to ask you because I know you're running for governor. So you're still doing that, right?
Yeah.
You still running for governor? So have you been watching these two parties and their butt kissing and their schmoozing to the throne? Governor Abbott's the incumbent. He started to kiss the ring of Donald Trump. Donald Trump was here. He was here last Monday. And Alan West has decided to throw his hat in. He's a Republican himself. So the Republican primary in Texas is going to be very rough because Republicans, they throw no holds barred shit, and it's all out in the open. And the Democratic side is it's a waste of time anyway because they're just they're going to lose, and they have nothing really to run on because they're moderate establishment Democrats in Texas. So they're pretty much like Republicans too, but except they're Republicans. Democrats. So nobody wants a Democrat in Texas, and even if they were a Republican, the guys are so fucking laissez-faire, economically blah that they can't even excite anybody. They can't even excite their base. Governor Abbott excites the base by not doing shit. I think that's how he does it. Or waffling on fucking government aid. Maybe that's how he does it.
I don't know.
I don't really know.
I've heard a lot of his supporters who are just sick of him and they want to get rid of him.
I mean, he is such a bad governor. He's horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's like some people like Trump. I could shoot someone dead in the street and people will still love me. I'm sure Abbott's still got those kind of people, but yeah, he lost a lot of his own support. So I don't know. I think it's going to be up in the air to see what Republican takes the nomination.
So who do you think it will be between Alan West? What's your prediction between Alan West and Governor Abbott in the Republican primary?
I want to say it's going to be West. Or between those two, it's going to be West. There's another guy who's running, Huffines. I don't know if he's going to get anywhere. He was like a Texas state senator. Has he kissed
the Donald? Has he kissed the Donald? Because that's how you do it.
I don't know. The magic ring. I don't know. But he is Republican, so we'll see. He does want to get rid of property tax, which is awesome, but he also wants to build the wall, which is what the fuck.
Yeah. Would you consider yourself a right? You would consider yourself a right winger, right? Would you?
No.
Well,
No. Well, no. I mean, like, I don't even like to wear labels at all. I don't even like to wear the label of the party that I'm going for the nomination. But like, this is what's funny about that whole left wing, right wing thing, right? Like, you look at those and like, what the left is, what the right is, right? And we talk about it all day as if like that's what it is. But the reality is like, the origin of left and right and where it came from was you had the king sitting at his sitting on his throne, and you had the people to the left of him who told him to direct his policy towards the people, and the people to the right of him who told him to direct his policy for the country or for his kingdom. And that's what it came down to. So the left was supposed to be pushing for policy. Now left kind of means progressive, blah blah blah. But what does that mean? More police power, bigger police state, which is really pro-government.
Yeah, I always thought it was the left brain and the right brain because the left brain is creative and is more compassionate. And the right brain, you get because people with the A personality, they're always on time, they're always well dressed, they have everything ironed, while the other people are very creative and they sleep late, they sleep in late, and they stay up all night. They're messy, but they're super creative. See, that's me. So that's who I'm like. I can't be on time to save my life, but I can make amazing compositions and arrangements like that. That's the only reason why people have me around because I'm so late all the time. But it's and I feel like these two things are supposed to work together to make a more perfect union. And I feel like I thought that was how the founding fathers envisioned it. Because Thomas Jefferson and Hamilton were always fighting, and they were left and right. Thomas Jefferson wanted not the centralized government system, and then Hamilton, he wanted it. He wanted that centralized power and the centralized banking system, and they were fighting all day about that in George Washington's office. Probably made George Washington die earlier. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean it's oh man. At the end of the day, I mean, so much. We were just watching a video about, it's all these deals we make, behind the scenes. That's the thing with the shit that they're telling us now is it's all for show, right?
Yeah, it's lies. It's all lies.
What are we telling you? And it's like, yeah, what we're gonna do is totally different. And the left and the right are all really working together on all kinds of shit.
See, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Dan. Is that that's what I'm saying is that they're not left or right. They're just fucking cretins, traitors. And I don't understand. Okay, this is why I called my episode nostalgia. Is the fact that for some reason, even though they do a cycle of telling us shit, walking it back, doing exactly the opposite of what they promised to do, all of them. AOC, she campaigned on so many things. Have you seen any of them happen? No. Donald Trump, same thing. Same thing. They walk it back. The cycle continues, and we're still in the cycle. What is up with this? What are we looking for? Do you know? Do you have any idea?
No, I mean, I mean, look, they spend billions of dollars on research firms who go out and figure out, okay, what words can you say to get elected? Oh, $15 minimum wage. That gets people excited. So you just go around saying $15 minimum wage a bunch of times. They vote for you, you get elected, then you do whatever the fuck you want. That's like, that is their strategy. That is their plan. They do it like clockwork. And this is, I mean, like AOC, I don't know how true this is, but they say she was basically like discovered as talent, and she's an actress to like do all this shit. And which makes total sense. Cause I mean, she was bartending, and like, how often does a bartender just like get someone to come along? Oh, I'll give you $100,000 to run for Congress. Like,
but then again, like they could have gotten a better actress, and they could have gotten a way better like she's not that. I mean, she's not Marjorie Taylor Greene.
She's not Marjorie Taylor Greene. That makes sense.
Okay, yeah, I guess
kind of flawed, right? Maybe.
See, that sounds like a conspiracy. That sounds like a conspiracy, Dan.
Yeah, right. It could be.
Are you a conspiracy theorist? You an insurrectionist?
I do love a good conspiracy theory. I don't go around promoting them as if they're fact, but I do like to talk about them because I think they're fun. And also, like, I got into the whole freedom movement because of conspiracy theories. And what I wanted to do was actually do a doc, because I was going down a rabbit hole, and I was like, man, this all sounds like bullshit, but I want to find out how much of it's true, if any. And the amount of it that I found out was true was surprisingly a lot. And there was still plenty of bullshit in there. But the stuff that I found out that was true was just like mind blowing. And I still tell people that kind of stuff today, and they won't believe me because it sounds too crazy.
Like
but
what?
It's true.
Like what? What are you telling them?
Like you legally don't need a driver's license to drive in the United States.
Oh yeah. Well, that just sounds like shit that white people say, and I won't do that because I'll get fucking not. It won't happen It won't happen the way you think it'll happen with me. But
hey, plenty of black people doing the same thing, uploading their videos to YouTube. So
yeah, and they all have insane amounts of fucking fines, and they have warrants on their ass, and they sleep in jail. I meet them all.
Not all.
They're all my boyfriends.
There's a couple, but this is the thing. This is what's difficult about it, because a friend of a friend just got arrested a couple days ago for the same kind of thing, and like I called the police station, I called the jail, I was trying to get all the information I could, and you know, he had the same thing. He was trying to do the same thing, except he was getting citations and he wasn't getting them handled in the right way. So they were turning into warrants and stacking up and all this other shit.
Exactly.
And it's like,
and it's easy to turn into warrants.
Yeah,
easy.
But if you do it the wrong way like that, then yes, of course, you're going to end up getting screwed. You have to. This I learned a long time ago. Like when they send you a letter, you can't just like say, you know, screw you, I don't have to pay this. You need to respond to it immediately and handle it. Otherwise, it's going to go through their system. They're going to escalate it, and they're going to, you know, end up knocking on your door and taking you to jail, even though they're not right. It's like, oh, you didn't object. You didn't object to calling you a driver or to saying that you were required that these laws apply to you or this other stuff. You didn't object, so therefore these things apply to you, and we're gonna take you to our jail.
You're supposed to say I object. You're supposed to say I object. Is that what you're supposed to say?
It's sometimes, yeah, but sometimes it's a little bit. You know, you have to drop some knowledge on them, to make it known that, you know, you're not gonna play their game.
You would really drop some knowledge on a cop that's fucking jacked up on Mountain Dew and some fucking no-dos, who has a fucking complex who beats his wife when she doesn't make dinner at 6. You would literally drop some knowledge on that guy and expect him to like absorb it. Interesting. Jesus Christ.
I mean, look, if he's already in a really shitty mood, then yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do. And you know, I can't argue with that. But you know, you do get a long way by, you know, treating them nicely. When you drop the knowledge, like, oh, well, yeah, no, like, okay, here's an example, right?
Yeah,
I was being really nice with this cop who stopped me, and he was like interrogating me for like an hour, and I was answering his questions just to be nice, and And, I was like, yeah, no, I don't have plates on my car because I'm not required to. And, all this stuff. And he's like, well, but where'd you buy the car? And I started telling him, well, I bought the car here. And he said, and I screwed up because I told him I bought the car a long time ago. And then I told him I just bought it a couple weeks ago. And he was like, oh, I caught you in a lie. And I was like,
they love that shit. They love it. They love that shit. That gets them hard. That gets them hard right there.
Right. But I told him no, well, I bought it and then I sold it to somebody else and then I bought it back. So now it's back in my possession. And I was like, at that point, I was like, you know what? I'm probably really bad at explaining this, but if you want, I can get my lawyer on the phone and he'll explain it to you. And he's like, no lawyers. You're good to go.
Hell no. He let you go?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Damn,
and
bro.
And his buddy. So
he believed you had a lawyer, though. See, he believed you had a lawyer because you're white. If I said, let me get my lawyer on the phone, he would not have believed that. He would have thought it was my mom or something.
That's very true. I'm not going to deny that shit. And I mean, I get it all the time.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that it wouldn't work for me, bro. Just because it couldn't happen.
I was 22 years old. I was driving through South Central LA at 4:00 in the morning, high as shit, with a bunch of people in my car. I was going 35 in a 35, I was going 40 in a 40. And as soon as the next speed limit sign came up and turned to 35, a cop lit me up and pulled me over. And when he got to my and I'm just fucking scared, stupid, high as hell. And then this cop just gets to me and he's like, you're in a really dangerous neighborhood. You need to go home now. And he just told me to go. Yeah, I get it.
Wow, really? Oh my God! Wow. Okay, stop telling me your cop stories. They make me angry.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry. But my point is
this. They make me angry. Stop.
My point is this. I know the racism is not bullshit. Most of my friends were black growing up, and I've been in situations where it's me and a black friend, and the cop is obviously treating me much nicer than he's treating my friend. And it's hey, we're fucking hanging out together. We're the same crowd right here. And it's fucking
weird,
obvious.
Right?
And I know some people, they don't have a lot of black friends. They've never seen that. They're just oh, cops give me tickets all the time. It's fair. And it's no, there's fucking bullshit going on. And it's not every cop. It's not every city, but it's fucking out there. And it's not it's not a small percentage.
Well, Dan, what do you think about the whole? What do you think about the sentencing with the douchebag with the state of the neck? I'm trying to get his name out of my mind. Chauvin.
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you think about that? 22.5 years.
Should have got more. My friend just got my friend got 15 and a half years for doing his job as a criminal defense lawyer.
What did he do wrong?
Defending a criminal. He received cash money from his client, and there was an FBI snitch who was trying to bribe a judge, not my friend, but the other guy. It's total fucking bullshit. Here's the real story. This guy was getting too many not guilties on his drug cases. Well, that's hurting the war on drugs. So they went after him. They fucking set him up. They introduced him to this client. The FBI snitch was the guy who introduced him to the client. They charged him with money laundering because he received cash from his client, even though he was reporting this money on his fucking taxes. Money laundering is when you try to hide the source of your money, and he was publicly declaring on his taxes where the fucking money came from.
Now, see, that's another thing. That's another thing. And hey, let's just get back to the Chauvin thing. We'll talk about the IRS in a second. We'll talk about the IRS in a second. But it's funny that you would say, and this is why I was asking the question about the right wing and the left wing, because I want to know what the hell the right wing or whatever the Republican mind is looking for when they're looking for a candidate, because they want small government, right? So why are you voting in a government race? And what do you want from this governmental politician if you don't want government? And then they get the worst, douchiest, most thieving criminals who openly hate everyone and want to steal from us, and openly say that, which is kind of it's nice on one hand, because you like Mitch McConnell, he's Bezos's bitch, right? And then you have Nancy Pelosi, who you have no idea what she wants, no idea. She could want anything. She already has 5 houses. She could want something. She could want a fucking cat from Africa that's rare. Who knows what she wants? She'll never tell you. But Mitch McConnell wants that corporate liability. You know what I'm saying? He'll say it all day long. Now, that's what the Republicans don't mind that. But what are they looking for? I don't understand. Like in this race between Allen and Abbott, what are they thinking that is going to be the deciding factor? Do you know what goes on
Yeah, I
among
mean,
Republicans?
this
What goes
is
on?
this is what I've been seeing a lot of is you have the left progressive like trying to move forward and get something progressive, and
Yeah.
then you have the right conservative who is basically just on the defense of everything that the left is trying to get.
Right.
And
I'll
like,
repeal it.
oh
Right,
no,
right.
they're going to open the borders and we're going to lose our jobs, or
Okay.
they're going to give welfare and we're going to lose our house, and like whatever the left comes up with, it's like the right has to be afraid of it, and that's the whole divide and conquer strategy that they're
Yes, yeah.
using.
Yes, you're right about that.
The right, I mean, there are a few things, but as far as the right, like there's not like something that they want, right? They kind of so they do have that kind of like, I just want to be left alone, but at the same time it's like, oh no, like we need to build a wall, right? That's something that they want, but that's defensive because of the left strategy of no, we got to let all these people in here. Well, if we build a wall, they can't let all those people in there. It's defensive of their strategy. So
I see.
I think that's fundamentally what a lot of it is. And why are we going to war? Oh, we got to defend our freedoms. Like they buy into that shit, which is
exactly. They do.
Yeah.
That's weird, right? We have to go 3 billion. You have to go 3 million miles away to defend our freedoms. It's amazing, like the shit that they say. I mean, sometimes it's crazy.
But here's the thing: like, I try not to pick a fight with those people as much as I can, because I realize like I used to buy into that bullshit too. I used to think the cops were our friends. I used to think like the military was protecting us, because that's most of the media. Like that's what's on the news all day. That's what's in the movies all day. Like watch the movies and like how much that is propagandized to make us think. I was watching this Tom Cruise movie, Jack Reacher, right? And this guy's like, get me Jack Reacher. And they're like, oh, we did some research on this guy. He's a ghost. He doesn't exist. But somehow we have all these records from his military and like all this other shit. But like he's a ghost and he doesn't exist. And then they're like, well, he doesn't have a driver's license, so he can't be traveling around anywhere. And it's like, really? Like they make it sound as if you physically are unable to turn on a car if you don't have a license. And it's like just little things like that. They're sprinkled throughout all these movies. It's fucking insane.
Well, listen to this, Jen. I want your opinion on this. I'm going to play a clip from MSNBC, and it's going to be about Afghanistan, getting out of Afghanistan. We're trying to get out September 11th.
Yeah, we've been trying to get out.
We lead by the power of our example, not the example of our power. And we're part of something so much bigger than ourselves. We stand as a beacon to the world. It's a code. It's a code. Uniquely American code. It's who we are. To all the service members and your families who are here today, all of you serving around the world, it's the greatest honor to serve as your commander-in-chief. Jill and I and our entire family thank you for your service and sacrifice. Like so many military families, thinking of their loved ones who served, we think of our son Bo today. You're all part of a long chain of patriots who pledged their lives and their sacred honor in defense of this nation.
President Biden at the White House yesterday. In contrast, the top Republican on the House Foreign Affairs Committee, Congressman Michael McCaul, is slamming President Biden for his decision to withdraw all U.S. troops from Afghanistan, saying the president will be responsible for the actions of the Taliban.
We're going dark in Afghanistan, and there are going to be consequences long term to this. And at the end of the day, Mike, when we fully withdraw, the devastation and the killings and women, humanitarian crisis, fleeing across the border in Pakistan, President Biden's going to own these ugly images.
I wonder if the chairman said the same thing when Donald Trump kept pushing to get us out of Afghanistan. Maybe he did. Maybe he said the same thing when Donald Trump decided that he was going to abandon our Kurdish allies by taking 2,500, 3,000, 3,500 troops when he yanked them actually out of Syria, when we actually had American troops that were pushing back on ISIS. We had American troops that were pushing back on the Iranians. We had American troops that were pushing back on the Syrians. We had American troops that were pushing back on the Russians. And we had American troops that were pushing back on the Turks. And yet Donald Trump yanked them out. I think that was a mistake. Said so. I think getting everybody out of Afghanistan's a mistake. I'm just wondering if the chairman was that aggressive when Donald Trump was making what I believe those terrible tactical decisions.
That's the frustration here. These are important debates, but the hypocrisy is just, it's ridiculous. Meanwhile, the top U.S. general in Afghanistan, General Scott Miller, is warning of the possibility of a civil war in the region.
You look at the security situation.
Yeah.
So you have a few things. You have the media. Well, first of all, you have the framing. Then you have the little header underneath. Biden will own whatever the Taliban does. I mean, what kind of bullshit logic is that? He's in charge of what the Taliban does? First of all, he didn't even make this deal. Trump did. He has to abide by it because he's the fucking successor of Trump. Trump made this deal. Their puppet would never have made this deal, and they're so bitter about it. And the other thing, Dan, is that the Kurds. Did you hear Joe Scarborough talk about the Kurds? Like they give a shit. They don't even give a shit about us. They give a shit about the Kurds. This is such bullshit. Oh my God, bro. And then, oh my God, any minute now.
That alone is a really good point right there. They don't care about the women and children in the United States. What the fuck do they care about the women and children in Afghanistan? That's all just like the people they're worried about getting assaulted are the people who are running their oil refineries out there. Who are going to get their asses kicked once they don't have the U.S. government defending them, and everybody else is like, get the fuck out of here with our oil and go home.
You mean the Saudis? You mean the Saudis? Is that what you mean?
I mean,
that's what you mean. That's who's guarding those oil fields. Our friends, the Saudis.
Fucking everything, like that's what it is, man. I mean, this is we're not out there because we're humanitarian. Excuse me, I'm kind of humanitarian. The United States is not out there because
I know. Look, our government is corrupt beyond imagination. It's because we haven't held them accountable. There's no consequences, but from their actions, they can lie to us all day long. They can invade other countries, and there's no consequences. This is what I'm saying, Dan, is that our country was founded on really good principles, and we have them. You know, I think you and I, we have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But somewhere along the line, I don't know if it was money and politics or something, but something got lost in translation. And now these politicians that are supposed to be like servants of we the people are now not being held to account. And to hold them to account, you get judged for it. Even me. When I talk about AOC or Bernie, the progressive wing thinks that's bad. Like, I'm not supposed to criticize them. Like, how else are we supposed to rein them in? I think the whole thing is that you're not supposed to. I think they want absolute power. I think they already have it. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, you've got so many systems that they have in place to prevent this, right? You've got jury nullification, right? That's our right to be able to say, oh, this person, like, you're charging him with possession of marijuana. We don't think that's a crime. He shouldn't go to jail, not guilty, even though he admits to being in possession of cannabis. That's our right to do that, but they've taken that away. They have arrested people for handing out brochures outside of courts that say that, or like, wait, don't we have free speech to hand out this information? A lawyer can be disbarred or arrested for instructing a jury that, hey, if you think this wasn't a crime, you can vote not guilty, contempt of court. They've prevented that from happening. What about voting him out and getting somebody else in? Well, they have all these ballot access laws that prevent even libertarians are having it's getting more and more difficult every year to get on the ballot. And this is it's not a massive third party, but it's a pretty good sized party with a lot of people supporting it, and they're having issues getting on the ballot. What about independents? It costs you $1 billion just to get, like, if you want to run for president as an independent, you got to pay $1 billion just to get on the ball in all 50 states. Everything that we've had that's supposed to give us power to keep them in check, they've done whatever they can to take that power away from us. And it's both sides. Both sides
You're
that
right.
are doing that.
You're right. We both know this. Thank God I'm not crazy. Thank God. But it's like a lot of us know this, and so what do we do? Do you have an idea about what we do? Jimmy Dore had an idea, force the vote, but he got fucking destroyed. Anybody who has an idea of how to rein these guys in get destroyed. It's crazy, but
Yeah, I mean,
it's Tulsi Gabbard,
here's the
everybody.
thing: you have a fear aspect that prevents people from wanting to do anything about it. It's like the whole ostrich thing, right? Burying your head in the sand of, wait. So you're saying that this government is made up of all these big corrupt politicians, and if I were to speak out and say, I want to put that in check, they're so corrupt that they could send a police officer to my door, plant drugs on me, arrest me, throw me in a cage, take me to Guantanamo Bay, and I'll just disappear. They could do all that stuff to me, but you're telling me I have to speak up against this because we need to end this corrupt system.
Yeah.
People are going to say, no, they're like, the mind is an amazing thing. They're going to go right into denial of all of the facts that you put in front of them because they don't want to be a fighter in the resistance. They just want to be an average Joe living their lives, not going up against this giant tyrannical government, not risking their life and limb to keep their family alive. And that life is all possible because all these fucking liars that are building this system to control and contain us are creating that like amazing, like simple life for us to live in. This is why, both the left and the right are always like pushing like, oh yeah, Social Security, all these, they're building government dependency, but they're telling us how wonderful our lives are going to be. And what they're doing is they're building a plantation of slaves where the plantation is a really nice place to be. So nobody ever realizes they're slaves and nobody ever wants to get off.
That's fucking amazing how you articulated that, bro. That's exactly how I see it. So what does July 4th mean to you?
Oh man. July 4th is the day where I have to go out and educate everybody who thinks it's America's birthday and tell them, no, this is not the birth of the United States of America. This is when we shut down the government. We fired guns at government agents and we made the government go away. And the United States government was not created until like a decade later.
Hallelujah.
That's what people don't remember. Oh, happy birthday. No, there was no government. There was no federal government for about 10 years.
I mean, man, Dan, it's always good to talk to you, bro. It's funny because like I don't know, I feel like we could still fix this somehow. Maybe that's what's driving me insane. And you're just like, you've gone like to Mexico. Maybe that's just a better idea. I don't know.
We can fix it, but it's not this whole get out and vote strategy. Really, we need to change the way that people think, but we can't approach them with the big scary like, oh my God, the government's coming after us and we have to shut it down, because that will put them into denial. That'll put them into like completely rejecting anything that we have to say, because they don't want to live that life. But if you create the big flowery world that they think is like, oh yeah, hey, that sounds great, and you give them a peaceful opportunity to bring that to life, then that is the way that, and then once they buy into that ideology, then you can teach them the ways of liberty and of less government and that sort of thing. And so that's kind of the strategy. And I've got three single issue political organizations I'm building right now, that are associated with my campaign that are basically trying to do that. And it's an experiment at this point, but hopefully if it works, I've got another dozen single issue things. But it's
what are the three? What are the three? What are the three you're talking about?
So one of them is free healthcare. One of them is rent-free America. And the other one is legalized happiness, which is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, right?
Exactly.
And of course, it's all related to weed. But
I know.
But like,
I heard legalized, but my ears perked up.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing, though. We're putting a different spin on it because right now, all the legalized cannabis organizations are, oh, well, it's great for medicinal purposes and you can raise a ton of money by putting taxes on it. But here's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's medicinal or not. If that is my pursuit of happiness and I just want to use it to get high, why do I need to prove that it's good medicine just so that I can get high? That shouldn't be required. I mean, people
What does the IRS get out of it? What does the IRS get out of that?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what about alcohol? Do you have to prove that alcohol has medicinal benefits to be able to drink it? No, people
No,
drink it
because
just
the
to get
alcohol
high.
replacement. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So
that's what I said in my last show is like the marijuana lobby just hasn't paid Joe Biden enough money. Once
yeah,
they do that,
exactly.
then he'll want to legalize. But
Exactly.
in the meantime, his fucking handiwork in the '90s is literally boiling over. And while he's president, we have Shakara, who's the Olympian, who got like
That
literally
was
got
bullshit,
this
man.
is crazy. This is crazy, man. He's the president. He's the president. He
Yeah.
did. He did
Performance
this.
enhanced drugs. We can't have people running on cannabis. They're gonna outperform everybody by miles.
How is it performing enhancing? How? Like maybe for sex? Is there a segment for sex? Is there a sex part of Olympian sports? Because I could do that. Performance enhancing drugs. I have some
Yeah.
Viagra and some weed.
I mean,
Performance enhancing.
they change the games every once in a while, right? Maybe they should add like a smoking competition.
I mean, you might as well. What do they do in the Olympics? I haven't seen the Olympics since I was a kid.
America wants a gold medal. We got all the big smokers. I mean, Snoop Dogg would go in there and take gold.
I know he would. He definitely would for sure. Probably might even Martha Stewart probably by now. You know she smokes like hardcore.
She'd
And
probably
she
take
got
over.
it. Yeah, I ain't going back there. Yeah. So we've got some developments going on as far as the government is going. And I want to know how you feel about this stuff. Is this infrastructure bill? This infrastructure bill that they're always talking about. So the Republicans and Democrats have come to an agreement. Apparently, they might not have. They're liars, but they want to spend so far $2.2 trillion, and an untold amounts is going to go to roads and bridges. Last time they did this, 5% went to roads and bridges, but this time they promised that there's going to be more, and in the $2.2 trillion. But they won't give us any details. But do you have anything to say right now? Because I hear you like trying to talk. What do you think about this infrastructure bill?
My screen got like I got alert and like I left the app somehow and I was trying to get back. Yeah. So yeah, here's okay. $250 million a day. $250 million a day. $180 million per day is from gas tax. That's how much we pay every single day. $180 million.
Gas tax. Where does that go? That goes to the IRS. Where does that go?
No, you pay that at the pump. It goes to
the pump. Okay, so it's included. I got you.
Well, yeah, it's included in all. Yeah, nobody even knows how much they're paying, but it's a lot. If you're in California, it's almost $1. Like, oh my God, $3 for tax. Yeah, a dollar that's going to the government. It's a lot. It's $180 million a day. If you add in the money they raise from traffic citations, parking tickets, driver's licenses, vehicle registration, $250 million per day. That's a lot of money. All of that money is supposed to go to roads.
Right.
It never gets there. And it doesn't.
So, yeah. Go ahead.
So any
who gets that money? Is it the head of transportation? Is it going to be Buttigieg who gets that money? Like that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is it the chain of command?
It usually goes into a slush fund, and then whatever they vote on for the budget. So you're just playing a video of like AOC voting on the budget, and like, oh my God, the Democrats balance the budget, right? The Democrats always balance the budget, or they come closer, right? Here's the thing: they don't balance the budget. To balance the budget, you need to cut spending. All they do is raise taxes, and of course, if you have more money, then of course your budget looks balanced. They have never in the last 100 years, the annual budget has only gone up. It has never gone down 1 year. When they talk about,
we're at a deficit of $3 trillion. Second consecutive year, $3 trillion of deficit. So I mean, there was no way they could have balanced the budget. There's no way Trump did either. So I don't understand what they're talking about. There's a lot, $3 trillion.
So whenever they pass these bills, I can guarantee you that money is not going where they tell you it's going.
So where's it going? Where's it going then?
Who knows? Sometimes we don't even find out until like a year after the bill.
Want to ask? And this is what the Federal Bureau of Investigation is supposed to be fucking discovering. But instead they're discovering the fucking people who rioted in the Capitol. I mean, their priorities are completely fucking out of whack.
Wait. You want them to turn against themselves? You want them to
I know.
You want the tail of the snake to start biting off the head? Like, yeah.
I know. See,
So
but
it's a nice
isn't
family.
it so simple that that is the reason? But here we are with the Mueller report. Oh my God, I can't wait to see what Mueller finds out. Who the fuck cares? He's a liar. I don't understand, right? Like, but the next minute, the Democrat, like, if a Republican president who the Federal Bureau of Investigation likes, then all of a sudden the Democrats are going to distrust the FBI again. The FBI's always been liars. Always. I don't understand you guys. This is what I'm talking about. Like, I feel like I'm a true leftist because I have never liked the FBI. I know what they've done in the past. I know our history. I know they infiltrate every leftist organization ever known to man, and they infiltrate it and they kill it from the inside. That's what they do. That was how they were born. That's why they were born. That's why Hoover manifested them. So to see leftists literally cheer for Mueller is a disgusting fucking feeling in my head. I get a disgusting feeling in my stomach. It's almost like, watching a fucking fox raise a duck to eat it later. That's what I feel like.
He's going to eat you. No, he feeds me every day.
No, that's my dad. That's my dad. I read his report. He said Trump's bad. Yeah, these guys are fucking morons, bro. I don't know, man. That's why I can't run for office. I'm not as nice as you. Like, I can't stomach this shit. There's just so much stupid I can take. There's so much stupid I can take. That's what I'm saying. Literally.
Man.
But did I get you speechless for once, bro? You're just really fucking talking about.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Usually when I'm speechless, it's like, oh, I've got so much more to say, but I don't know if I want to beat the horse right now.
Yeah. Okay, so do you follow any mainstream news at all? No. At all as far as the government goes? So say you do get into office, how are you going to know what the fuck's going on then? And how are you going to combat these two fucking evil parties? That's what I'm saying, bro.
Okay.
What?
So first of all, I'm already combating the two parties from these organizations I'm trying to build, right? Because that is the way that I see of their destruction. It's not going to be, I get elected and then I'm going to do something that's going to shut them down. It has to be, the people have to demand something else. So I'm going to create something else that they can demand.
Okay. Oh, okay.
As far as what would I do if I get in there? Well, of all the stuff that I know that they're doing that needs to stop, I can make that stuff stop. There's this whole, we saw this in this clip right now, right? Where they're talking about oh my God, we can't just pull out because there's all this stuff going on.
The generals, they're going to,
the generals.
You're disrespecting the generals.
But here's the thing. Okay, first of all, the stuff that's really going on over there is classified, so they're not going to be talking to news, right? But all these little, this is how it always works, right? They're always oh, we're going to pull the troops out. Oh, we can't do that because there's all kinds of stuff going on there, and there's this, and then they start explaining all these little detailed situations and everything. What they're really trying to do is they're trying to get you to forget the forest and look at the trees, look at the pine needles on the tree.
Exactly.
That's what they're trying to do. And at the end of the day, no, we are in somebody else's country. The army that has not declared war, that is supposed to be only used for defense, is halfway around the world, or all the way around the world, killing people and protecting property that is not theirs to protect, and assaulting people that they have no right to assault. That's what they're doing. And so they're trying to get you oh no, but somebody's going to die. One person's going to die if we pull all the troops out. And they try to get you to look at that one little pine needle. And it's how many people are dying at home because they're homeless, they can't feed themselves, their kids are dying because they're overseas, all this stuff that's going on. And you want to forget all that to look at these other little things. So I don't pay attention to all these little details because all these little details are mostly irrelevant. At the end of the day, we're not legally obligated to pay most of the taxes that we're paying. And if we stop paying those taxes, most
of the jail.
No, you won't. That's a myth.
Who doesn't go to jail, bro? I know we've had this conversation. We had this argument. This, but I know people that have gone to jail, bro.
But they probably filed, and then they probably did something on their filing that they weren't supposed to do.
I guess.
I don't
know.
There are ways to not pay the income tax and not go to jail, but you stop paying the income tax and you stop funding the military, and they can't go to war. I mean, they'll try to print money, but there's limits to that.
And so is there limits to that? There is. Because Steve Mnuchin, bro. Steve Mnuchin printed a lot of money last year.
Yeah, well, they've been printing a lot of it. But look at Zimbabwe. Look at Venezuela.
Mhm.
There's limits to it. I mean, they can keep printing, but eventually they're going to collapse their currency. And the more they print, because the U.S. is the global reserve currency, right? The more they print, the more they lose their standing as a global reserve currency, as a stable currency. And everyone starts looking at China or somebody else like, oh, hey, yeah, you got a different currency. Or they start looking, who just declared Bitcoin as legal tender? Somewhere in South America. I don't remember.
You're talking about Bitcoin? Oh yes, the president of Mexico. He was the president of Mexico.
No, it wasn't Mexico.
He wants to make the president of Mexico wants to make Bitcoin an official currency. That's what I read in the New York Times.
Second country. There was already one country to do it.
Which country? Do you know? You don't know? Man, I wish we had Jamie.
I want to say Guatemala, but I don't think it was.
Guatemala, bro. No, that was where Kamala Harris said, "Do not come, do not come." Hey, so let's talk about personality just for a bit. Do you want to finish your thought? Go ahead. Well, because like let's talk. I want to know what you think about Kamala Harris, bro. What do you think about her fucking border crisis bullshit ass going down to the border, not nearly to the border, and then Trump's trolling her the whole way? What do you think about this fucking shit? This drums. What is up with this?
It's fucking like I don't watch The Real World. I don't watch fucking, the what is it, the Big Brother, or like, that's what this shit is, man. Like it's fucking bullshit.
No, you're right. But you don't have an opinion on it? You don't have an opinion on the drums?
Like I just this is why I don't even watch the news, because it's all this bullshit, and like most of this is just so irrelevant. It's a distraction. And I'm like, I don't care about this stuff. I got my own life to live that I'm trying to live. And the fucking government would get out of my way.
But she's such a bitch, though. I swear to God. I don't usually call women bitches, except for Hillary and Kamala.
So why invite her into your living room by turning on your TV?
She invites herself. She says, "Do not come," and then she walks right into my television.
And I tell her to get the fuck out and turn it off.
It's probably a good idea. Well, she's going to be your president soon. She probably is already.
No.
She probably is already. Because Joe Biden, I was watching the July 4th thing, and he could barely make it, bro. And I'm not joking.
I believe you. I said this from day one. I was like, within 1 year, she's going to be president.
It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird, kind of sad. On the other hand, I hate him, so I don't know how to feel.
It's going to be the same thing. It's going to be the same thing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
because this is the other thing. They're not making the laws, right? The Congress is still passing the laws. Like the president, this is another thing. People think the president is able to just walk in there and be like, okay, we're going to get $15 minimum wage. No, that's not how it works.
But they have the bully pulpit, and they're supposed to be the leader of their party. And see, the Democrats were supposed to have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And so the leader of the party was in the executive office. And he could have told his party with the bully pulpit to pass a $15 minimum wage. Because that's what Trump did with the tax cuts. Trump said to pass my fucking tax cuts. And they did. But the Democrats didn't want to pass them. See, that's the thing. Is Republicans always get what they want when they have the House and the Senate. And the Democrats do nothing. They do nothing. They're a waste of time.
Then what?
Then the president signs it. It becomes law. That's how you make a bill.
And then how are they going to get elected? How are they going to get elected? They don't have any carrots to hang in front of you anymore.
I mean, there's plenty of carrots. We're living in a cesspool of fucking horrible corruption. The 1% own more wealth than the bottom 90%, bro. There's plenty more carrots. There's plenty more. Where's Bezos' ass? Oh, so there's one more thing. Last thing. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, it costs them a lot of money to come up with a new carrot and get people aware of the new carrot. Billions of dollars. Research.
Oh, you're saying it's advertising dollars? It's advertising dollars lost? Why would we pass a $50 minimum wage? I mean, everything you're saying is making me even more angry. Making me even more angry than I was before. Thank you. Like literally, I came to you for fucking comfort, bro, and you're making me even more angry than I was before. But anyway, yeah. So what was I gonna say? Oh my god, yeah, the Democrats are worthless, and Republicans get what they want. Oh yeah, Bezos. So anyway, he's done with us poors. He's going to Mars where it doesn't stink like poor, and Axe body spray, and he's left his company in the hands of a puppet CEO. And he's done well his first day, it looks like. Now, what do you think the fate of Amazon is held? He's not going anywhere. He's just he's trying to buy Mars from the Martians. But once he gets back here, the executive chair.
I mean, look. See, this this is the same kind of fucking drama they're trying to drum up, right? It's
No,
like,
but
okay,
he owns our world. He does. He's got $180
let's
billion
say,
and he owns everything. He does.
let's say,
He does own
let's
it.
say he goes to Mars.
Go ahead.
No more Jeff Bezos on Earth. Problem solved.
Yes.
What's the problem?
There's a cell. I'm sure he has technology where he can communicate with his puppet CEO and tell him what to do. He owns
Okay.
everything. He owns all of the fucking work camps in the Communist Party of China. He's got Xi Jinping. They're friends. Him and Joe Biden and Xi Jinping, bro. They hang out all the time.
If you moved to the moon, would you really care what was going on back on Earth?
Look, you are talking.
Knowing that it's probably going to get hit by a meteor.
This is the thing that libertarians don't realize is that we're not rich billionaire psychopath Lex Luthor like people. Yes, he is. He's his trip to Mars. He's going to be thinking exactly what's going on here. He's going to be keeping tabs on everything because he's a control freak. That's why he got divorced. Do you understand that, Den? His wife couldn't stand him because he's a control freak. He's hoarding money and he's making everyone poor. He's literally doing that. He's a control freak. He's not us. He's not us.
Okay,
he's Bezos.
That's a
So
fallacy.
Think like Bezos.
That's a fallacy.
He's a hoarding,
Okay, wait, let me ask you this.
destructive, sociopath, narcissist, megalomaniac. He's going to keep tabs on everything. He's going to want to know where his fucking plate is that he left 2 hours ago. Did you move that shit? That's my fucking plate. Go ahead.
This is the paranoia.
It's not paranoia, bro. I know what narcissists do.
No, hold on. These are the thoughts that they're putting in your head to make you think we need more government to go take all of this man's money.
Well, I mean, the reason why he's going to Mars is Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is the one who can't fucking give him any sleep. He's dragging my name through the mud, bro. Just today, Bernie Sanders fucking talking shit about Moses on his way to Mars.
Okay, let me ask you
this. Guy is giving because this guy, Bernie Sanders is Jeff Bezos' only heartburn. I'm just saying.
How much money do you think Jeff Bezos has in his bank account?
$180 billion. Go ahead.
Cash.
Yeah, I'm sure. Because he got way more than that. Way more.
Okay.
Go ahead. What?
People
you think I'm wrong? You think I'm wrong?
People, yes.
And it's not just one bank; it's various banks. It's all these different banks, and then there's one Swiss bank account.
Okay.
He only knows the numbers too, and he would never tell his wife. She's a stupid, ugly bitch. She's almost a 4. See, I know what narcissists think. She's just a 4. You see, they're not narcissists. They're narcissists, bro.
You think he's smart enough to understand how money works and how the Federal Reserve works, right? And how printing money devalues the currency? You think
so? You're saying? I mean, if it's in a bank, is he printing it or is it just a digital number on his fucking cell phone? I don't understand.
Doesn't a digital number inflate the same as a printed piece of paper?
No. Does it?
Yes.
How?
Because it's valued exactly the same.
How?
$1 on paper is exactly the same as $1 in a bank.
A paper it's a material object. Okay.
Doesn't matter.
To print that.
You can walk into the store.
Well, digital gold and regular gold. Then the Bitcoin's the same as gold. Then in your logic, wouldn't that be right?
No, because Bitcoin
is a digital currency.
No.
And gold is a solid item. It's a solid metal.
Okay.
So how is that?
Right.
Go ahead. I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
Okay. Because you go into a bank and you have $1,000 in your bank. Any bank you go to, you say, "I want my $1,000." They give you 1,000 pieces of paper. If you have Bitcoin in there, you don't walk in there and say, "Oh, well, I have 10,000 in Bitcoin. Give me 10,000 in gold." That doesn't work that way. It's the same currency. So if you have a digital amount of dollars in your bank account and you have a piece of paper that is that same number of dollars, that is the same. And so if one is inflated, the other inflates the same. And in fact, most of the inflation is done through fractional reserve banking, which is the practice of depositing in a bank and lending it back out. That currency inflates the same because you're creating more of those dollars electronically.
What is that? You just said fractional what banking?
Fractional reserve banking. So this is the thing. When you deposit in the bank, right? Because the government basically tells the bank, this is what used to happen, right? When money was gold, people would put their gold in a bank and they would issue gold certificates. And this certificate said, "Hey, if you come back to the bank and you bring that certificate, we'll give you your piece of gold back," right? But what happened was people started trading gold certificates instead of going back to the bank to get their gold to trade with.
Exactly.
They were trading the certificates. And then they were like, well, hey, nobody's coming for their gold. Let's start printing more certificates. And they just had magic money, right?
That's called a Ponzi scheme, right? Is that what a Ponzi scheme is, pretty much?
No.
Where you don't have the shit to back it up with? You don't have the shit to back it up with at the end of the day?
That is a symptom of it, but it's created a different way.
Okay, I understand that. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
So this is the thing, right? So banks are doing this. Banks still want to do this, right? They want to lend out more money than they have. So what they did is they got the government to say, oh, well, we'll insure that for you, right? So you can do that. So they're allowing them to print more money than they have, and it's called fractional reserve banking. So what they do is the government that insures them, the corporation that insures them, the FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, basically tells them you need to have 10, 20, whatever percent reserve, which means if somebody comes to you and deposits $100 and you have to have a 10% reserve, you're allowed to lend 90 of that person's dollars.
Okay.
You have to reserve $10 and you can lend the rest of it.
So you still have that 10% left there. So you still have. Okay, I see what you're saying.
To the bank, and in
so
theory,
that way you're not. That way the bank never has $0. So that if someone comes in there like, oh, it's a wonderful life. Oh, but your money's in Bill's house. Oh, Mr. Potter.
It's bigger than that because they don't keep all that cash at all, right? So let's say a bank has $1 billion in deposits. That doesn't mean that they have $100 million in cash. What that means is they have $100 million in a bank account of their own with the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve has all of the cash. But of course, the Federal Reserve doesn't have all the cash either, so that's another fucking myth. But that's another story. But anyways, my point is,
it sounds interesting. I'm looking into this. Go ahead.
There's a really great cartoon that explains it all. It's called The American Dream. It's a cartoon. It's on YouTube. You can watch the whole thing for free. It's like an hour long, but it explains the whole system really well.
Cool.
But anyways, the point is,
what's your point?
Nobody who's worth $100 billion, nobody who's worth $10 million is going to keep $10 million in the bank because they know that dollar is worthless. You're losing money by leaving that money in the bank.
So we're talking about Bezos. What is your point on that? Talking about Bezos.
Point is,
his control.
He doesn't have $180 billion in his bank account. There's nothing to take. If you take something from him, what are you actually taking? Because there's this,
what are we taking? Like if we allegedly were gonna like go to his house and decapitate him. Well, first I take his ice cream because I'm sure it's good ice cream in his fridge. Then I take his cars, and then I take his fucking.
That's
fine. His fucking fur coats. I take his fucking safe in the bag there, and then I fucking I'd be like Santa Claus. I get a little sack, and I take his little gold bars because you know that bitch has gold bars in there. Then I take his fucking freaky shit. He's probably got like $1 million fucking whips and chains that he fucking pays women to fucking beat them with. You know shit. Can I pay you $1 million so I can beat you? Can you look like my wife when I'm doing it? Here's throw in another $1 million.
So now you got all this stuff. And let's say you somehow distribute that among humanity. How much better does that improve humanity?
Oh, lots, bro. Once they taste this ice cream, bro, they don't even need anything else. Trust me.
Well, my point is this.
What's your point, bro? That's what I keep asking you. Go ahead.
It's a fucking carrot. It's a fucking carrot. That's all it is. It's a distraction.
It would be feel better if we just fucking killed them.
Because look, here's the thing. While all these politicians are telling you, oh, look at Jeff Bezos, look, he's so wealthy, we need to take all his money. That's why you're poor. No, the reality is the government and those politicians are the reason you're poor.
Okay, so you're at A to B. The B to C part is that Bezos owns Mitch McConnell, and they own Nancy Pelosi, and they own these politicians, and they funnel the wealth back to him. And it's a cycle. So they're all in cahoots.
So who's actually robbing you? Jeff Bezos, who everybody
Jeff
gives
Bezos is, because he's paying them. They're the puppets.
Hold on.
The puppets. They're the puppets.
But
he's the puppet master.
Exactly. The puppets are robbing you. So why are you paying attention to the puppet master when there's somebody standing right in front of you?
Once you get his voodoo stick, Dan, once you get his voodoo stick, then the puppets die. Don't you see that? You haven't seen that shit? Man, you need to go to New Orleans, bro.
Doesn't work that way. Because if you take him out, the next billionaire in line comes along and says, "Oh no, I'm going to do it." Plus, if they're his puppets, why are they going to follow our will and actually take his money? Like their
You're
job
right.
is to take
So
our
the thing
money and
is,
give
we
it
need to
to them.
kill, as Dan has said, we need to kill all the billionaires, and we need to destroy the Republicans and Democrats. Thank you. That was the best. That's the best
Destroy the
solution I could come
Republicans
up
and
with.
Democrats. Yes, yes. And the
And the
rest,
billionaires,
and
and
the
the billionaires,
billionaires will
and the
disappear
billionaires.
because they won't have their
No,
funding
because
source
they'll just
through the
get more
government.
puppets. Okay, so you think that literally, you think that if we just destroy the Republicans and Democrats, they're not going to get more Republicans and Democrats and call them something else, rebrand them,
No.
advertise them, slap them on a poster board? You don't think that? But
Yeah.
no, we got to kill them too. Anyway, saying, bro.
See,
Hypothetically.
this is that dangerous, harmful extremist content they were warning me about.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Are you going to report me to Zuckerberg? Because he already knows. He already knows that I think he's a pasty ass bitch.
You're going back into the territory of the stuff that most of America is not going to want to
I
support.
know. I'm just angry. Your shit makes me angry, bro. Because it's like you don't understand that these guys are the ones that are running our government.
I get it.
So why
I get
why
it.
can't they just be left
But
scot
cut
free?
it off at the
Well,
source.
Then what, bro?
Nip it in the bud.
What's the
Nip
source?
it in the
What is
bud.
the source? What to you is the source? What to you is the source?
You said the politicians are stealing from us to give to Jeff Bezos, right?
Yes.
How are
I'm
they
saying that.
stealing from us?
Without the taxes they increased. Yes, exactly. Correct. You're correct about that.
Restrictions on our freedom, shutting down our small businesses.
Correct.
That
so
is
they can
where
become
we fight.
monopolies. Exactly.
That is where we fight. We
Okay.
stop paying the taxes and we stop
So
following
you think
the
those are
regulations.
not? You think those are the root causes and not the symptoms? Okay, it's interesting. Okay,
Yeah,
well,
cut off. Because I mean, here's the thing.
I don't know how that's the root cause. But go ahead.
Most of Jeff Bezos' money he got because people write him checks. They send in their credit card. They go to Amazon.com and they buy shit. They're voluntarily giving money to him.
I mean,
and yeah,
are they giving money to Jeff Bezos, or does he have 50% of e-commerce, patents and licenses? And because he just destroyed all of the small businesses, and so when people get online, they have no other choice. Just like Walmart.
How are those enforced?
By the government. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying that there's literally a circle, bro. We have to break the wheel.
If we ignore their rules,
says.
we ignore their rules, we take back the economy.
Yeah.
We stop paying their taxes. All the power goes back to us. We don't have to buy from Amazon anymore. We can buy from somebody else. We can keep the money in our own community. We don't have to give it to the billionaires. That's the thing.
Okay.
That's all we have to do. And then who gives a fuck if Jeff Bezos has $1 billion, $1 trillion?
I still do, but I think he's a douchebag. But anyway, you know what? I'm willing to try I'm willing to try your solution, bro. I'm willing to try anything to get rid of the Republicans and Democrats. I will try anything to get rid of them, bro. Anything.
When you talk about stealing from a billionaire, and maybe he's a criminal, right? That's fine. And every criminal should be punished for their crime.
He's a criminal against humanity, bro.
That's fine.
He is.
But punish them for their crimes. Don't just arbitrarily take their money, because when you get into that mentality,
I understand what you're saying.
Then it becomes like, oh, I'm going to steal. I'm just going to steal whenever I don't have what I want, and that's not
what I'm saying. I'm not saying steal from them because they have a lot of money. I'm saying steal from them because they have stolen the lives and livelihoods out of millions of people. They've outsourced jobs, and they've given into slave shops and sweatshops in Malaysia and communist part and the work camps. They're benefiting off of work camps and slave sweatshops. And that is a crime against humanity. It's immoral. And so that is a crime. I'm not saying steal from them because they have $1 billion and they work so hard. I'm just saying that this is how they got $1 billion. They've exploited and they've destroyed and they've raped humanity. That's how they did it. And everyone knows it. You know it deep down. You really do. I know you don't. I know you know. I know you do. You know what they've had. And you know they have.
If he was running slave camps, then yes, absolutely. Throw him in prison for running slave camps.
Okay.
But that's the thing.
Would you have to get him at the slave camp?
That's not what Bernie Sanders is talking about. Is Bernie Sanders talking about lock him up, or is he talking about stealing his money?
Okay, that's a good point. I don't even know what Bernie Sanders is talking about anymore. I don't listen to Bernie Sanders anymore. He's working with Joe Biden to do an infrastructure bill after the last infrastructure bill. So I'm done with that guy, bro, for real.
And even if he was saying lock him up, then we all remember lock her up, and that never went anywhere either, right?
Yeah, neither did it. So we're way past the hour, Dan, and you got me a lot to think about as usual. You need to come back on more, but in small doses. Just kidding.
Hey, man, once you get me started, I can't stop talking.
I know, man. We have some good conversations. I said we were play a game last time, but I don't really. I had a Joe Biden Jeopardy, but I think it's too loud to get set up. So I think I'm gonna.
I don't watch the news, so I fail.
So July 4th means to you. Can you give me like a good closing on that? What do you think? The State of our Union, July 4th. Go ahead.
We are not government property, and we should not allow them to treat us like that. We should not allow them to treat us like we're incompetent, like we don't know how to run our own lives. We don't need them to dictate how we need to run our lives. We don't need them to prevent us from pursuing our own freedom, even if it is harmful to ourselves. We need to be able to make those decisions for ourselves because we're free, we're individuals, we're adults, and that's what free people do.
I completely agree with you, bro. On that. Free thinking, innovative, totally open-minded, guys. Tommy Nation Politics. See you later.